Welcome to Twin City Talk. Today we are talking to Michelle and Joe from the Winston-Salem Symphony. Welcome.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So before we get into the Winston-Salem Symphony, I'd love to hear a little about how you're involved with music and how that evolved for both of you.
Sure. Well, so I am entering into my third season with the Winston-Salem Symphony as the music director and conductor. I've been conducting professionally for... what is it? 2020, 14 years now, I guess. I think my first professional gig was in 2010, maybe 2011. And I've just been doing music really my whole life. Love conducting and really have fallen in love with Winston-Salem and so excited to be here and
Do you play any instruments?
So I started on piano when I was a very little girl, and since it's October, it was actually during Halloween. So I was trick-or-treating when I was about 7 years old, and somebody had their business card for piano lessons attached to the candy.
Oh my gosh.
It's a great marketing tool. Exactly. So when I got home and I dumped out the candy and I found this business card, I'd already been interested in music. I was like, oh, could I do this? And my parents said, okay. And they got me a little Casio keyboard at first. And then we found an old upright. And I was just completely obsessed with, I did not have to be told to practice. It was not a thing my parents ever had to make me do. They had to make me stop practicing. So I would go and do something else or go play with my friends.
For the love of Pete, please stop.
Exactly. and then later on, my older sister, who's 8 years older than me, she was playing saxophone in the band. And so when it got time for me, there was no orchestra in my town. I grew up in a tiny town with only 100 kids in my class, 2,000 people in the total town. But so when it came time to pick an instrument for band, I was like, well, I'm going to play saxophone because I want to teach like her. And then the cutoff of practice really started because that's loud. Yeah. And so it was like, you cannot practice after 10 o'clock at night. And even then, I'm pretty sure they were still like, oh. So it was, I was in love from the time I was very little with music. Didn't know that was going to be my career at the time, but just knew that I was extremely passionate about it. Grew up in Texas, so football is king there, which means marching band's right next to it. So I was actually... Exactly, always. And had experience being a drum major, which is kind of being a conductor in a way, not in the same sense. But I would also just... when the teachers would leave to go on a conference or something like that, I would take over the class instead of letting them watch a movie. I'd be like, we're going to rehearse.
Oh, my gosh.
And so I got my first taste of what it was like to kind of lead an ensemble. And that carried on into my college degree when I was getting a performance degree, but also a music education degree, where I started taking conducting lessons. And then it just grew from there.
That's great. What about you, Joe?
Oh, gosh. I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary as the public relations and marketing manager with the symphony. And I told them in my interview that my experience with classical music begins and ends with Bugs Bunny cartoons.
Which is a great way.
And they hired me anyway. So exactly. With the but prior to this, I've worked in nonprofits, arts, marketing for 10 plus years. So I know about putting on a show and getting people into the seats and telling people about what they may not know about, what they might not know about coming to the symphony. So I've had a really great experience as the new guy coming in and saying, well, this is what I like about it. It's not necessarily what you think going to the symphony might be. So that's been a great way to sort of translate that out to new people and tell them. But as far as musical ability, I was in marching band in high school, like Michelle mentioned, because I was loud, not because I was any good at the trombone. And the secret of playing the trombone, you can also see what the guy next to you is doing out of the corner of your eye and match up what they're doing. So that was the secret to my very brief career as a trombone player. But so that's it.
So you brought up a good question I can ask is what can people expect when they go to a Winston-Salem Symphony show?
I think just an experience that they won't get just from listening to the radio or watching something on YouTube or watching something on TV. Having that live experience where you're actually getting the sound waves coming at you. If you've been to maybe a rock concert or a jazz concert, you get that a little bit, but this is completely unamplified for most of our shows. So it really is just the sound of 65 to 80 musicians on stage, more so, almost double that, if not a little bit more, when we have the chorus joining us, all making sound together, and that's just rushing out to the audience. So I think that oral sensation and the visual aspect of it as well, actually seeing the players as they're playing, as they're doing these different nuances, is something that is really unique in this day and age where so much is readily available and we can just scroll past it. This is kind of being able to turn off everything and just look at what's happening, hear what's happening, and kind of embrace that entire experience with everyone else around you.
That was really cool.
Yeah.
The intro to that. Now I'm dying to get out.
You got to, yeah.
I'm Burgess. Nice to see you guys.
Nice to see you, Burgess.
Yeah. The security guys didn't answer over and over and over. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm stuck here.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
that's
nice to see you.
becoming a problem.
It's all right. It's okay. So
We're here now.
I'm here.
So, what are some upcoming shows through the fall and holidays that you guys can share about?
Yeah, well, coming up right on Saturday, October 11th, we have our own hometown hero of music. Ben Folds is actually playing with the symphony, and I'm so incredibly excited about this show because Ben is not only an alt indie rock icon, he's also a huge advocate for symphony orchestras. He's playing at his high school alma mater where he would have played in the band and the orchestra. And
Also Burgess's.
also Burgess's as well. Very nice. And I also worked with Ben Folds last year in the Kennedy Center with the National Symphony Orchestra when he was making his orchestral CD with the National Symphony Orchestra. I was in the recording booth doing a lot of the same songs that you're going to get to hear on Saturday. And it brings music to life in a way you might have listened to Ben either in a solo show or maybe on his albums, but then when you get to hear it reimagined with the orchestration of a full, again, 65 to 80 piece orchestra behind him, it brings it to life in a completely new way. And for me, that is one of the highlights of the season. It's just a few days away, so we might still have a few tickets left. I'm not sure, but get them while you can because it's going to be for sure an event not to miss. And then we have a lot of family concerts. I'm a mom. I have 2 young children. So right around the corner in 2 weeks or about a week and a half, you're going to have a Halloween spooktacular is what we are calling it, which is kind of not too scary music, but some fun music that's going to be related to Halloween. We encourage the kiddos to dress up. I'm going to be dressed up. The orchestra is going to be dressed up. And it's just a time for you to introduce your children to music. As Joe was saying, he got introduced with Bugs Bunny cartoons.
Yep.
So this is kind of the Bugs Bunny of the day.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, go ahead.
Oh,
Joe.
no. Prior to the symphony, I worked at a children's theater. So these shows are particularly my favorites because I'm not a parent, but I am just a child in an adult's body. So seeing all these kids come in and maybe for the first time seeing live music in front of them is just outstanding. And the energy is crazy, but in a wonderful way. And there's activities in the lobby for families to do.
Pre-concert
it's a
you
whole
can go
day.
and do.
It's just fantastic.
Yes.
Where's it located?
And that's going to be at Brindle Recital Hall on Wake Forest campus. But as Joe said, there's going to be pre-concert activities, so you can go and try out an instrument for the first time in the instrument petting zoo, as we call it. Or you can make colors. I'm sure there will be candy. It's a Halloween concert, of course.
Oh, yeah. There'll be a riot if there's no candy. So.
And then coming up in November, we have a concert that is going to be pairing with the Paper Hand Puppet Project. And I don't know, this is not your typical puppet, with mouths that open and close, even though those are incredible as well. These are kind of larger than life puppets, really beautiful, moving animals, masks, faces, a sun, where we're pairing that with a classical piece called Ravel's Mother Goose Ballet. And so the whole concert itself is actually going to be enveloped in a forest. There's actually going to be trees on the stage while the musicians are playing. And it really is kind of more of an immersive experience where we're playing Mozart's Magic Flute, which takes place in a forest. And then we're going to be playing the Crouching Tiger Concerto, which is Tandun, but it's the music from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, played by a cellist, also taking place maybe a bamboo forest, but it's still forest. And then we have this whole second half where the puppets are going to be coming down the aisles, coming out on stage, just really moving along to this music. And for me, kind of that pairing with one of North Carolina's own other arts organizations, but also just having kind of this visual aspect to go along with the music, I think is going to kind of elevate that concert even more. And let me think. I'm trying to think of some of my other favorites. Joe, what's your favorite
after
concert?
that will be the Carolina Christmas
That's true.
program.
We can't forget that one. Christmas is always super fun. I'm sure we're going to repeat the ugly Christmas sweater contest
Of
that we
course,
had last
ugly
year.
in quotes, obviously. It's all subjective.
But we're having Tony DeSere. He kind of has a voice like Frank Sinatra, but the chorus is going to be singing with us as well. It's really kind of your hometown Christmas concert where you get ready for the holiday season. It just makes you feel good. There's hot chocolate beforehand that you can get from one of the food trucks. Bring your kids, bring the whole family. It's the weekend right after Thanksgiving, so it's a great Saturday night event to go to and just I know we put up our Christmas tree the night of Thanksgiving, so we are ready for Christmas. So hopefully you are too. And so that's
I don't
really,
know why you laughed at that. I do the same thing.
Yes, exactly. I
Perfectly
know. Well, I
reasonable
mean,
to
my
me.
kids have already started the winter factory. They're doing their snowflakes right now in preparation, so we can't put them up until after Thanksgiving. So they're getting ready. But then in the new year, in 2026, we have things like Harry Potter, a whole evening
cool.
of Harry Potter. Again, I hope we get some people dressing up. You know,
I'll
with
be
their
there for that.
Slytherin or Gryffindor, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw. Who are you? So all this
You
music.
should have a sorting hat
Exactly.
that tells people where they're
We're
going.
actually going to have a Tri-Wizard tournament on stage.
Oh,
so there's going to be a
nice.
little quiz
cool.
show, and you might be able to win a prize or two from that. So, and some very fun pre-concert activities for that as well.
I'm kind of like Hagrid, you know.
Yes.
big-
Oh, for
fuzzy
sure.
and big.
I
So
love
there we
that.
go.
If you're not busy in January, we
I
might
know,
have
we
a
might
job
have-
for you.
I can always be persuaded to do some Harry Potter stuff.
Well, I think this music is also so timeless. A lot of it is John Williams, who again is kind of the icon of movie music, and it's something that my generation and the generation above me, these are books that we grew up with, but now our children are starting to read them. There's a whole new Harry Potter show that's coming out, so it's still so relevant. And just again, I think it's a great Christmas present because it's coming out in January. You know, if you're looking for a fun event to do as a present as opposed to just a physical present, I think this is a great concert to think of for that. We even have something on actual Valentine's Day this year, and it's only about an hour-long concert. And we did that so you could go to the concert at 5 p.m. and then go to dinner afterwards. And I think that's kind of, you're looking for a great date night or maybe an evening to remember. It's a nice kind of concert with a dinner package that you
Absolutely.
could do. Storm Large is also coming. She's been to Reynolds High School before. She's used to be with Pink Martini, does all sorts of incredible work, was on America's Got Talent recently.
Rockstar NXS.
Rockstar NXS. She is living in Asheville now, so she's again kind of North Carolina's own. We have this huge North Carolina connection kind of flowing through all of our concerts this year. But she's going to be doing this piece called The Seven Deadly Sins. This kind of turn of the century piece, but she comes out in a trench coat and then just, slow. It's the Seven Deadly Sins. It's a little sultry and it's a little risque, which is everything Storm Large is about. So it's a theater piece as much as it is a musical piece as well.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's very, very fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we've got Wicked coming as well. The music of Wicked and The Wizard of Oz and all
And
of
The
these
Wiz.
great
Don't
things.
forget The Wiz. That's
and
the one I grew up with.
And Elton John, too. Yellow Brick Road.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these are kind of happening in that
Really
concert.
cool. That's a lot of
You
cool
just booked
things.
my entire
I
calendar.
know, right?
Exactly. We've still got subscription packages available.
Really cool. So what's your favorite parts about working at the symphony?
I'll let Joe. I've been talking a lot. I'm not Joe.
That's all right. I really like the fact that we all work together towards the same goal. I mean, that sounds silly, and that's probably true of every workplace, but the fact that we have a show coming up this weekend, and our director of philanthropy will be setting up pop-up banners, and, the marketing guy and I will be constructing the step and repeats, and people are organizing volunteers. It's just like this little group that comes together for 1 or 2 nights in a weekend, and then it's gone. It's not a permanent thing. It's something you had to be there for. And so that FOMO feeling, I think, is just so great to get people to say, I was there. We got to see it. It was a fantastic show. You've got to get to the next one. So it's just so fun. That energy of just what could go wrong.
But also, I think
As prepared as we are, something always happens. It's just fantastic.
But I love how you touched on it. Really is a moment in time. This is not a show that you can go back and binge watch. This is you have to be there or you missed it. because it's not. Sometimes we do some recordings, and you can go back and see it on our website, but it's not, again, the same as being there, sitting next to all the other people in the audience, 1,000 or more people in the audience, seeing the 60 to 80 people, sometimes 200 people on stage when we have the chorus, and actually just getting to be there, hearing a piece that might be 200 years old, it might be 2 years old, it might be 2 minutes old in some cases, for the first time played in that situation that will never happen again. Even if some people actually come twice, and we have repeat concerts on a Saturday night and then a Sunday, they'll come on Saturday night and then go like, gosh, I love that so much. And they'll buy another ticket because they want to hear it again, because it will be slightly different. Everything's always just a little different. And I think that's what's great about it, is there's all these different variables. And it is so nice to just be able to manage that and to curate that and see the excitement, and we feed off the energy of the crowd, and that's what's really fun for me.
So I know you mentioned you're from Texas, but you've been here for a while. So what do you love about Winston now that you've been here?
It's so green. It's so close to nature. And I love that I can get out to Pilot Mountain in 25 minutes, or go out to Salem Lake and do kayaking, or get out to Hanging Rock. The proximity to, I grew up in Texas. I also do a lot in Florida. My husband's the principal percussionist of the Jacksonville Symphony down there. So we don't get a lot of green, or we don't get a lot of seasons. And I love that about Winston, is that you have all of this beautiful nature. But the other thing is, I grew up in a very tiny town. Everybody knew everyone's name. Here you have that in a way, but you also have a Target down the street, a Publix up there. You can still have kind of like the big city amenities while still feeling like you are in a small town.
I'm glad we could provide a Target for you.
Yes.
What about you, Joe? Where are you from?
Oh, gosh. Well, I grew up in Montana. As I said, the marching band rehearsals in Montana Decembers at 7 in the morning were not so fun. That maybe explains my brief career as a musician. And then I moved to Oregon for college, and just recently moved to Winston less than 2 years ago. So it's been a completely different world for me. It's been a really exciting adventure at this point in my life. I mean, like Michelle said, the greenery is beautiful. The weather now is great. The weather June, July, August was a shock.
It's still so much better than
coming
Texas
from
and Florida.
humidity-free Oregon. So yeah, everything is different. Every little thing is different. It's just been wild. It's been an eye-opening experience here. Yeah.
So I'm just curious, what have been some of your favorite shows in the past? Does anything call out to you as like, oh, that was a particularly great night or a cool event?
You know, we did a tribute to Tina Turner last year,
That's
and
cool.
that was the crowd was packed, the energy, everyone was dancing in the aisles. It was really fun, and actually, it's that same group that did that tribute concert that's coming back to do the music of Oz, and so it's going to be not necessarily the same singers, but that same production company. So I know that they bring it when they come, and that was a particularly fun one. Also, we did Beethoven's Ninth Symphony my first year, which was the 200th anniversary of that piece being performed, and that piece being such about, you know, the ode to joy and bringing people together. And it was at Waite Chapel, and the place was filled up with some very young people, some older people coming for the first time to hear a symphony, and just being kind of like, oh my gosh, when the chorus started singing and the musicians were all playing, just that wave of emotion that can kind of, we're in such a time where we're divided over so many things, and that being able to bring people together was just beautiful.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, like I said, this was my first full season with the symphony. It's starting right now, so I don't have as many shows under my belt as Michelle does. But last year we did a similar sort of partnership with an organization called Cirque de la Symphonie, which is a Cirque du Soleil mini performance, I guess, a smaller squad who came and did their thing while the orchestra played this beautiful music. And just to see those two things at the same time, the juggling and the strong man,
yes.
right, and balancing that enormous cube, it's just those visuals and that sound are just locked together in my mind, and that's what you get from live music that I don't think you get watching it on TV or seeing a concert, on streaming or whatever. So Yeah, that's probably been my favorite so far.
I took my daughter to that a few years ago,
Oh, yeah?
and
Nice.
she just loved it. Yeah, we talked about it a lot after that. She still brings it up from time
Oh,
to time.
really?
Mhm.
Oh, that's great.
Sounds cool. So outside of the lineup you have coming up this year, are there other things coming up like within the community that you might be doing, events?
We definitely have things outside. We have a Symphony Unbound series, which my very first year we did something where we partnered with the Callidium, which had just opened
cool.
up, and we took over the entire building. And we had ensembles on different floors. So everyone had a different wristband that was colored, and you were divided into 3 groups. And you would go and hear a little mini performance for about 15 minutes. It was strings and then percussion, a jazz group, and then you would rotate, ding, 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 after you had a chance to kind of mix and mingle, have a curated cocktail and a bite to eat, and play with some of the Callidium things. And then you'd switch floors, get your next concert, switch floors again, get your next concert. So little 3 mini concerts. And then everyone ended up on the 4th floor with a horn quartet playing kind of beer garden type songs, polkas, marches, and the Beatles, as we watched the sunset, because it happened to be on the summer solstice. And so it was
cool.
it sold out within 2 weeks. So we're definitely looking to do that
Yeah,
again
that sounds
coming
cool.
up. Maybe at the Callidium, maybe somewhere else, but kind of this, we called it Mysterium, which was just based on a composer's idea of kind of being able to titillate all the senses, both the ears and the mouth and the smells and everything, the touch. And so we'll definitely do something like that. Also some other ideas of Symphony Unbound. We just had Symphony Unbound because we had yoga on the stage of Reynolds Auditorium, where our musicians are going to be rehearsing and playing all of the performances. So look up for kind of those little pop-ups coming up. We'll also do symphony story times where these are for children, where we'll go and read a book at a library along with one of our musicians kind of playing the music soundtrack along with that.
Right. And you can find the symphony at Arts Crush occasionally. We just played at a Dash game. They invited us to come play live music before their Harry Potter night. Speaking of
Yes.
Harry Potter, it's the theme for the year. So we had a brass quintet there at the beer garden, just playing along, and people stopping
That's
by.
so cool.
That is.
I love
Yeah,
that.
the coal pit. We play at
Oh,
the coal
yes, in
pit
the summer
live
we'll
every
do
every
coal
now
pit,
and then.
yep.
So you never know where we're going to appear.
I just like that it feels like it's not just staying power, but coming back strong. And
Yes.
I love that because I've always loved the symphony, and the fact that it played so much in my alma mater's auditorium meant a lot to me when I was younger, and I had family that would take me, and so it's so cool to see it so strong, the presence so appreciated in Winston. I love that.
Well, that's
So,
great. Yeah,
thanks for what you do.
we are approaching our 80th season, so
Wow.
it's been a pillar of the community for so long that it's inspiring to be part of that. For however brief the history I've been here so far.
And the fact that we do in February a series called the Mary Starling Concerts, and these are education concerts, and every single 5th grader in Winston-Salem Forsyth County schools gets bussed into those not just a few that opt in. Every single 5th grader gets to go and see that. And they have been seeing our smaller ensembles, a string family, the woodwind, the brass, the percussion, they go into the schools and kind of give them a mini presentation in their 4th and 5th grade years. And then they get to, and that could be their first experience with live music. But the fact that that's been going on for years and years and years and years and years is also a testament to just always looking to the next generation and trying to make sure that art is in their life and a way of expression is in their life.
It's definitely important.
Love it.
So how can people find out about the symphony?
I would start at our website, wssymphony.org, and you can follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the same handle, wssymphony.org.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining today
Thank you.
Thanks for
and what
having
you
us.
do
Nice to
for
meet
bringing
you guys.
music to our community.
Yes. No, thanks for having us. Love being here.
Well, this is Twin City Talk. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. The views and opinions portrayed by guests on this podcast are not necessarily those of the distributors and hosting companies. And if you love this podcast, that's great, but don't think about stealing it. Reach out to us and talk about the content because it is copyrighted.